Hey guys, final episode of us talking about our new young adult program, 1630. You're gonna love meeting Lea Hernandez from Baytown, Texas. Her story of going to DC with us, her impact in the next generation. Here's a 21-year-old leader who's already investing in 16, 17, and 18-year-olds in her church. This is a powerful interview. Stick around. Welcome to the Conversations with Christians Engaged podcast. I'm your host, Bunni Pounds, the president of Christians Engaged. This ministry exists to awaken, motivate, educate, and empower ordinary believers in Jesus Christ to do three things: to pray for our elected officials and our nation regularly, to vote in every election to impact our culture, and to engage in some form of civic education or involvement for the well-being of our nation.
So thankful, Bunni, for what you do. A lot of people talk the talk, but you really walk the walk.
There's nobody else I want to talk to about Jesus with than you.
And I will stand and lock arms with this woman of God, Bunni Pounds, any day of the week.
Bunni, you are a new hero of mine.
And I'm 100% behind something that Bunni Pounds is doing. Encourage her, pray for her, and be involved. Be part of Christians actively engaged.
America is worth it. Now is the time. America needs your involvement. Please take our pledge to pray, vote, and engage. Join with a movement of other Christians that are doing these three simple things that can really impact this nation. Join us. Hey guys, so glad you're joining us. I'm here with Lea. Lea,
Hi.
It's so great to have you in Dallas-Fort Worth, all the way from Baytown, Texas.
Yes, it's so great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we are thrilled to have you a part of 1630, and I love how you started connecting with Christians Engaged. Can you tell us how you got involved?
Yeah, it was actually really random. I was the first working in my church. It was just a random staff day, and then one of our pastors, she's scrolling on her phone. She's like, "You're studying, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." She goes, "I think you're going to be interested in this." And then she shows it to me, and it's Christians Engaged. And I'm like, "Oh." And then I see Washington, and then I'm like, "Wait, Christians, politics?" And I just started seeing everything, and I'm like, "That's amazing." So I was like, "Okay, I'll take a look at it." And then I went home. I started taking a look at it. I got so interested, and I mean, now I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were one of the 26 that we picked to go to Washington, D.C. with us this last summer. We're going to take 50 young people next year, guys. I cannot believe this program just started a year ago. We hired Abby Sexton, and if you haven't watched Abby's video with us, you got to meet our young adult director, but go back and watch that one. But Abby's like just bringing this to life, and we're able to scholarship young people through classes, our campaign school, and now taking these trips to DC.
Yeah.
Lea, so we do a pray day, a vote day, an engage day.
Yes.
What was the most impactful thing for you on the trip?
Well, everything was just great. I think everything was important, but if I had to choose anything, it would be when we went to the Museum of the Bible. It was our last session. We were all together, and we got in groups, and then we were told to start praying for America. And at first I was just quiet, nothing was coming to me. And I think we were all told, like, it's okay if you're quiet, like just wait for God to speak to you. And I was just waiting. And in that moment, after a little bit, I felt God speak to me, and then it all started to make sense in my calling. Because I've been working with kids and youth for a little bit now, and I never even knew why I got in it. I just know it all kind of one day or from another. I was just like doing everything. And I knew I loved it. But when I was there, it was God telling me it's not just because you're going to do it at church. It's not just because you're doing it for right now. It's because you're a voice for those new generations or the kids of America. Because this generation has a lot of potential, but it's also going through a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of things, they're changing. And I truly believe we're in a time where the good is seen as bad and the bad is seen as good. And there's a lot of confusion in our new generation. And I felt God just speaking to me in that moment. I saw young adults, I saw kids, I saw everything. And I started just praying for or new generations. And I don't know how, but I'm like, I'm gonna be a voice for them. I have to do something. I cannot just stay in my house hoping for change. I have to do something about it.
That's so powerful because how old are you?
21.
21 years old, feeling called to be a leader to the next that are coming
Yes.
up after you. I
Yes.
mean, that's really what the body of Christ should be doing. We should be discipling,
Yes.
realizing that we're called to be a disciple and then discipling others.
Yes.
And I love that the Lord spoke to you about your leadership, even to take ownership of that now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How impactful was it to when you heard behind the scenes of staffers or consultants or, Tim Gagline spoke to us from Focus on the Family, members of Congress, state, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz,
Yeah.
to see the kind of behind the scenes in Washington, did that color things for you a little bit more, or what did
It
you
did.
think about government at that point?
It did. It made it real.
Mm.
It made it real. Because when you're not in there, there's a lot of opinions. There's always going to be people saying, I think they should have done this, they should have done that. I don't support this. Why is this person even in the power? But, I believe whoever's placed there is meant to be there, whether we agree or we don't agree. God moves everything perfectly for a reason. But when I was there, it made it real. I'm like, they're real people. They're just like me. It's also their first time trying to choose stuff, and they're trying their best. And it's not just that one person. There's a lot of people behind them. And that made it real. I was like, it's not up to this one person. It's not up to this one person. It's like a whole body.
A whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot. I'm like, and if half of us would be in that situation, it wouldn't be so easy to pick like we do when we're outside. So that made it real. And I was like, I have to do something to help. I have to do something to get involved. And yeah.
So it actually stirred you more to realize that you have a responsibility to pray, vote, and engage?
Yes.
How would you speak that to your generation now after having seen that one person can make a difference, that your vote actually matters?
Yeah.
How would you communicate that to somebody else?
I feel like in this generation, we feel like we cannot make a change. It's like, one person's not going to make the change.
Hopelessness.
Yeah. And we're just hoping for the next new person to come up with better ideas. But what if that new person is us?
Wow.
And that one person can make an impact. It is important to vote. It is important to pray. It is important to do something. We are all called for different things.
Yeah.
The way that our gifts are different, I like to think about it as in we all have a different door that only I can fit through, only my other neighbor can fit through.
It's powerful.
We have different things, but they're all valuable. They're all important. The way we move is different because we're all a body.
Yeah.
But without my hand, I cannot do it. So maybe I need that one person that has said, well, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think I could. I don't think I should. I'm just going to stay in my couch, hope for better. But maybe if we all decided to stand up, be real, just come out to the community, speak to people. I work in elementary school, and it's heartbreaking to see what's happening with parents, with kids, the confusion, identity issues in so many levels. When you sit down, you realize how real this is.
Yeah.
And you can no longer stay in the couch hoping for better. You have to pray, you have to vote, you have to do something.
Yeah.
However that looks like for you, whatever it is that your talents are, or what you like, or what you think what area could be better. It doesn't necessarily have to be sitting in the White House and, I have to come up with all these things. Maybe it's just in your community.
Yeah, preach it, girl.
Doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we so often look to Washington, D.C. to solve all our problems and don't realize that we've got opportunities right in our neighborhood and our communities that we can be a leader and make an impact, right? So wherever God calls you, whether it's staying in education, in ministry, who knows what might happen over here, in politics or government, Lea.
Yeah.
But do you feel like what 1630 and what our ministry is investing in you will help you into the future? How will we help you in the future, and how can we be a resource to you?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, it already has helped. For all of those new young adults that are gonna go next year, if they're thinking on it, this is not just a great experience that you get to look back to and you're like, oh, that was cool. You know, we went to these cool places. No, it's like this is the beginning. You know, if you're interested on something, whatever it is, for me, it was just the beginning. Like this is, you guys put something in my life where I'm like, I cannot ignore it. You know, because I knew I wanted to do something, but being there made me like uncomfortable in a way of like, why haven't I done anything? I'm 21, but I can do something already, you know? So I just want to stay connected to it. You guys offer so many things, classes, and then we're all connected. We have groups, we have everything. This is just the beginning. There's so many connections. So wherever it is that I'm led by God, you know, you guys have like many doors, and I am really thankful for that. Where I can just, you know, go right in and do what God has called me to do.
That's so good, because that's part of the vision here, is to not just provide resources, you know, classes, trips, etc., but to actually help you as a young adult figure out what God's called you to do and get you the resources to do that, whether that's campaign work, advocacy, ministry. You know, I believe the ministry leaders that are rising in Gen Z need to be speaking about civic engagement, can't be afraid of the issues. They have to be different, right? We
Yes.
can't have a silent pastors. We also have to realize when we're speaking in youth groups that, man, they're dealing with a lot of problems, and we can't let the church be irrelevant by not actually talking about what's happening.
Yeah.
Right. So wherever people end up, I hope that we invest in their hearts to go, I can be a little bit bolder, I can be courageous to speak the word of God, but yet love people and pull them into the truth, right?
Yeah, definitely.
How would you talk to your generation as far as that, as far as biblical truth, understanding the Bible, understanding biblical truth, and then, you know, really going deeper in God? Why is that important?
Well, I guess I would start on, for example, I like writing worship songs, and I feel when I've made my best songs would be when I just base that foundation of the song in the word. Because the Bible is really, it's all laid out for us. Everything we need is right there. But I think as we go in this generation and, you know, we have so many things to our hands, we have forgotten to read the word.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we're Christians, but we don't know why. Or we're Christians because we were taken to kids' church, but then we're like, I mean, I just grew up here, so I'm hanging out here, but I don't really know why I'm here. I don't even know why I have faith. Do I have faith? And then we're just doubting. You know, we're just walking, and we've been walking, but are we really believing? Because we have to come back to the word. And I feel like in the churches now, we have forgotten of our new generations.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what the families are going through, or what the parents are going through, or adults are going through. And we kind of tell the youth like, okay, well, now go to the back and just hang out there, you know, while kids, while church is over. But I'm like, they also need to receive that.
Yeah.
Especially because it's just heartbreaking to see what the world looks like today. In schools, we used to have fire drills. Now we also have shooting drills, which is crazy. And that's not talked about enough. And adults are, you know, dismissing that. And what I think of is we just have to work harder to include the young generations, because that's where the issue is starting.
That's good.
We're having identity issues. I work with my youth, and a lot of them, they have anxiety. They're depressed. They're confused. They're like, why is this happening at my school? My school is a Christian school. Why are there kids that are doing that? You know, that's not what we're supposed to do. And they have a lot of doubts. And then you tell them, have you told your parents? I mean, I don't think it's relevant. I don't think it's important. Or they just dismiss it. Because we're not looking at the youth. We're just caught up I guess adults are caught up in themselves.
Yeah.
So what I would say is we have to remember who we are. And I say that to my youth a lot. You have to remember who you are. You have to remember what you were called for. You're going to see a lot of things, because sadly, we're in a world where it's unrealistic that our youth or kids are not going to see something maybe they shouldn't have, or they're not going to hear stuff they shouldn't worry about. That's just where we are today. So what we just have to keep constantly reminding is God has called you for this.
Yeah.
You know, you were born at this time in this generation for a reason.
Yeah.
You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to have anxiety. No, it's not normal for you to be depressed. And no, you don't need to be medicated for that, because there's God. You know, if you go to God, it will be fine. And I pull from the Bible, there's verses where I'm like, depression has always been a thing. There was depression in this one person here. Do you see? But what happened? She went to God.
Yes.
You know, because there's one thing that even your generation has changed, has been changing a lot, but the one thing that has never changed is God. He's not gonna fail.
Amen.
He's not gonna fail. So we just have to come back to the Word. And I always remind them that. I'm like, I don't know what's happening at home. I don't know what's happening at school, but I do know one thing. Your parents might not understand. Maybe others don't understand. Maybe you feel out of place and you're scared and you're like, I don't think I have a voice. Just come back to God.
Yes.
Just like Jeremiah 1 says, don't say I'm too young, you know, because you're not.
Yeah.
I have placed something powerful inside of you. And that helped me in Christians Engage on that Washington trip to realize, yeah, I might be 21, but I can do something.
Yes.
I'm not too young. I'm going to learn more stuff and I'm going to go as I, you know, go. But I can do something for other young adults, for other Christians, and for the world. Because
so good.
We're told, you're a Christian, you're different, you know, you're gonna, we're here temporarily, but we are in the world.
Yeah.
We are living in a world without God. So we cannot just be ignorant about it and just walk in. It'll be fine.
Well, that is the crux of what we're trying to do, is wherever people are in their calling, is to let them know that they have that they're called as leaders, right? And we have a responsibility. It doesn't matter that you're 21 years old. What you just communicated is, this is the message that I'm communicating to the 14, 15, 16-year-olds in my youth group. And we need every believer in this country to rise up right now and take ownership of that. What you just said, as a 21-year-old, every 60-year-old, 70-year-old, 50-year-old, 40-year-old, 30-year-old needs to be taking, I just went through every single year, but everybody needs to be taking ownership of being a leader. If you have the Word of God, take ownership of your discipleship and to start discipling others. Lea, it's a blessing to have been with you today. I want to tell you folks, this 1630 project is my favorite thing that we're doing right now. I am so excited about us reaching 1 million Christians. I'm so excited about the curriculum that we're building, but none of it matters if we're not pulling young adults and young people into a movement to impact the country. And I believe that there are leaders coming out, and Gen Z is courageous. I mean, they are just, I love these kids. I mean, mission focused, ready to take on the world, not afraid if we can empower them, teach them, mentor them into their place of leadership. So I want to thank everybody that supports this project. Know that at the end of this year, your year-end giving, it matters. Help us send 50 young people to DC next summer. Help us to scholarship them in our classes, our curriculum. Help Abby grow this group of young people that are literally going to be leaders in their churches and their communities. It's really a powerful thing. So, Lea, thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for going to DC with us.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It was a blessing.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for this incredible podcast. What a time we've had. We love you so much. We love being in your life. Have you subscribed? Have you shared this with your family and friends? Please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, wherever you get your audio or video pods. We need your help. This mission is undergirded by individuals just like you that support this ministry monthly, annually, and whenever you think about us, to be able to reach over 1 million Christians in the next 2 years. That's our goal. We want to empower 1 million Christians around America to pray, vote, and engage regularly. Will you help us? We're here to do that, and we need your help. I want to say thank you to our partners at The Stream. What an incredible online publication put out by James Robison and Life Outreach International, as we come together across denominational lines as believers to discern what God's saying about the news of the day and to hear from different viewpoints. Check out The Stream, make it your homepage, and get on their email list. This product is amazing. Also, our partners at Edify app, put out by Christian Post. This podcast app is a convergence of Bible teachers around America. We're excited to be a part of Edify app. Check out all their other podcasts. Thank you so much again for caring about this nation. We're here to help you pray, vote, and engage. We'll see you next week.